Guys, welcome back to another reaction video. You guys go checking out Croatia just showed its crazy new military power, more powerful than you think. I really want to see how crazy it is. Okay, so if you're seeing me for the first time, please like this video, subscribe. I'll see you. So let's check this out, okay?
Throughout its history, Croatia has been a state known for its strong military traditions.
Wow.
During the era of the Roman Empire, both the Western and Eastern empires heavily relied on troops known as the Croat forces from Croatia, who served as mercenaries. These Croatian troops were even hailed as the pioneers of warfare tactics by light infantry units in the medieval period. In the modern era, Croatia's military strength is also significant. As a member of NATO, during the initial tensions between Russia and Ukraine, Croatia threatened to withdraw its forces from NATO if the alliance chose to get involved. The president of Croatia also criticized the supply of tanks to Ukraine, arguing that it would not resolve the conflict. However, by mid-2023, Croatia played a role in the supply of weaponry received by Ukraine, including helicopters, rocket launchers, anti-tank rockets, and tens of millions of ammunition rounds. This indicates that Croatia's position as a neutral country is gradually fading, and indirectly, Croatia must prepare for other options. Okay, let's create a scenario. If Putin's ultimatum to attack NATO countries that support Ukraine were to come true, Croatia would also be threatened. This raises the question, is Croatia capable of facing an attack from Russia? To answer this, we will examine the extent of Croatia's military strength.
I'm serious. I'm serious. I really want to know if Croatia can actually stand Russia military power. And according to this video, he said that Croatia have actually upgraded in their military, because like you are not even prepared for you to see them. But the question is, can Croatia actually stand the Russia war if there have to be a war between Croatia and um, Russia? So let's continue. Okay?
Croatia indeed has a long history regarding its military, but what we are discussing now is modern warfare. The armed forces of Croatia can be considered relatively new, having been established after Croatia gained its independence from Yugoslavia in 1991. Even in the
Oh my God, like this is my first time going through Croatia's history, and I really want to know the history of Croatia because, according to him, he said Croatia gained their independence from Yugoslavia. Yeah, am I correct? Yeah, and you guys, and according to him, he said obviously Croatia's military ammunitions are new, and which means there's a whole lot of upgrading. Wow.
phase of reclaiming, Croatian forces were essentially
Reclaiming.
light infantry supported by basic tanks and artillery. Croatia's victory was, in part, due to NATO's intervention. Seeing the situation and having succeeded
Wow, which means that NATO contributes a lot to Croatian because according to him, he said that Croatia victory was true due to NATO intervention. You guys, I really have a lot to do about Croatia's history, guys.
successfully defended its independence. Croatia's first agenda was to enhance its military forces. The development of
Yeah,
military
to enhance
doctrine,
it.
culture, and professional troops was continuously promoted. This was not just to maintain
was
independence,
continuously
but
promoted.
also to reclaim the self-proclaimed Republic of Serbian Krajina. In 1992,
Wow.
Croatia began establishing officer schools to fill the void in platoon and company command positions. The progress made by Croatia was significant. In just about 3 years, by the end of 1995, the Croatian military became the principal military organization in the Balkans or Southeast Europe. The CIA's assessment of Croatian staff planning was very favorable.
This is what I was actually looking for. You could see the way they started upgrading, trying to make it more powerful, and that is what it's called.
noting their capability in combined arms operations as well. During this phase, Croatia received
Money.
considerable assistance in heavy weaponry, including Argentine
Wow.
Cider 155mm field guns, Romanian APR-40 rocket launchers, 21
Wow.
MiG-21 fighter jets, and 8 Mi-24 Hind combat helicopters. Advancing even further, Croatia developed domestic UAVs or drones, one of which was the BL-M99 Bojnik, tasked with reconnaissance and directing artillery fire. For a newly independent country that took just 3 years to modernize its military, Croatia's success was remarkable.
Just 3 years. The success was remarkable indeed, you guys. Just 3 years. Wow, they did a
To
lot.
understand the extent of the Croatian military's influence at that time, consider this analogy. NATO also assisted in the reclaiming of the Republic of Serbian Krajina and the end of the Bosnian War, but the CIA rated the contribution of the Croatian military as greater than NATO's. Without underestimating NATO's strength, it could be said that the Croatian military was stronger. Do you see now how developed the Croatian military has become?
You guys, really, it's became more stronger and very developed. You just don't give up on yourself. That is given, you
Here's the
guys.
issue. After the war ended, Croatia gradually reduced its personnel numbers, even after choosing to join NATO in 2009. If we look at the graph, where the peak was in 1995, the number of personnel has been on a slow decline. Croatia's military personnel currently totals around 37,000, with only 15,000 active members, 20,000 in reserve, and 2,000 in paramilitary roles. If you believe the
Wow.
data presented by Global Firepower, their website indicates that Croatia's military ranking has now dropped to 69th, marking a decline.
Wow.
What's the reason for this? Primarily, it boils down to military budgeting. After the war, Croatia's military budget was significantly reduced. By the year 2023, it was around 1.2 billion US dollars, which is about 1.54% of its GDP. This figure is well below the NATO target, which requires member countries to allocate 2% of their GDP to their military budget. From the situation in Croatia, I want to highlight a particular fact. According to data from undisclosed sources, the Croatian government's mission was to retire as many generals as possible because they consumed a large portion of the GDP while being largely inactive. However, this is merely an excuse. The real reason is that the Croatian government fears a military coup, especially considering that the majority of these generals are former communists. Choosing to cut the budget has led to numerous issues. The reduction also
Wow, wow. So they have to cut off a lot of generals because, according to him, the military personnel should reduce than what it used to be before. And according to source, these generals consume much of the country's GDP, which means they are not actually always at the front war. And which means they have to reduce, retire a lot of them so that the money can increase because every country is supposed to give 2% of its country GDP to military, which is according to the rules under NATO for you to be able to be among NATO. This is gradually getting me more interested than I think.
affected Croatia's compulsory military service program, which was abolished in 2008. There have been plans to reintroduce compulsory military service, but they have not been implemented. Besides facing significant criticism, the simple reason is that the government does not have enough budget to finance their compulsory military service. Croatia has its own reasons for why its military strength is limited. First, Croatia is a small country and does not require a large military. Second, with the ongoing war between Ukraine and Russia, the Croatian government has concluded that modern warfare no longer requires thousands of tanks and millions of soldiers. Croatia now confidently prepares to defend itself, even as a small country with a modest military. Thirdly, Croatia can be said to have no issues with other countries and no reason to attack anyone. Conflicts with neighboring countries. All neighboring countries are not stronger than Croatia. Hungary and Serbia are on the same level. Slovenia, Bosnia.
Hold on, guys. I just heard something. He said Croatia is actually a small country, but other countries that surround Croatia are not stronger than Croatia. And these countries are more bigger, right, than Croatia. Wow. Wow, that's interesting.
Herzegovina and Montenegro are, arguably, weaker than Croatia. Therefore, the Croatian government deems the 7,100 army personnel, 1,250 Air Force personnel, and
Wow.
1,400 naval personnel more than sufficient. And for a small country, Croatia is actually not weak. In terms of modern warfare, Croatian forces are well trained and equipped with reliable hardware. Croatia also has special forces whose primary mission is to ensure the combat readiness of special units in protecting the territorial integrity, sovereignty, and independence of the Republic of Croatia, as well as to participate in NATO-led operations. The reality is that Croatia's military is now far more modern and powerful in terms of armaments compared to Croatia in the 1990s. The Croatian army still operates about 75 domestically produced M84A4 old tanks as its main battle tanks. However, in terms of experience, these tanks are reliable. Moreover, the M84A4 is not a World War-era tank. The M84A4 has been operational with the Croatian military since 1985. The Croatian government already has a program to modernize its main battle tanks to replace the M84A4. If the option to modernize with Western tanks such as the Leopard 2, South Korea's K2 Black Panther, or France's Leclerc tanks does not materialize, then the M84A4 will be upgraded to its highest level by 2025. To compensate for the shortcomings of the outdated main battle tank, the M84A4, Croatia acquired two types of tanks, the Patria AMV for over 158 million euros and the PZH 2000, known for its high rate of fire. For its air force, the Croatian military continues to use MiG-21s, which have been in service since the early days of independence. Additionally, in 2021, Croatia purchased 12 used Dassault Rafale jets from France. To support its air forces, Croatia also acquired the most advanced American-made armored destroyer helicopters, the Black Hawks. A significant modernization effort is also underway in the Navy, with plans to design two domestically produced corvettes. What must be acknowledged about Croatia as a small country is its relatively developed and internationally competitive arms industry, ranking among the top 10 arms exporters in NATO and being one of the arms suppliers to the United States. When discussing the actual problems in the Croatian military, as mentioned earlier, the issue is budget cuts. The Croatian military experienced significant budget reductions from 2000 to 2010. As a result, the military faced stagnation, made no progress, and saw little investment. Several projects even had to be halted due to budget constraints. The decline in Croatia's military strength is also due to the government's focus on tourism. However, in recent years, NATO members have pressured the Croatian military to reinvest in advanced military equipment.
So guys, just like what you hear, like I feel like there's a whole lot of upgrading. But what actually I don't understand is the reason why the military was declined. And it may seem as though that Croatia also supplies ammunitions like guns and all those bombs to the US. So why is budgeting a issue? Why is budget issue for the people of Croatia to raise? And according to them, is that this man, he said that why budget is issue and why the decline of Croatians military forces, why the people are declining, is because Croatians are not, they are not focusing on the military, they are focusing on the tourists. As for me, I just feel like that doesn't make sense. Why are you focusing on tourists? Who are the people that are to guide these tourists, people coming to the country? If the military forces are not well guided, who are the people that are going to protect these people from insecurity and all? It's still the military, Croatian military personnel. So why not focus on the tourists as well as focus on the, on the military? Because this is money come from the tourists, then it helps in, keeping the country safe through the military. I don't know if I'm making sense. Please let me know in the comment section what are your thoughts on this. And I feel like Croatian is topping up like a small but mighty country. Let me know your thoughts on the comment section. Thank you so much. I'll see you on my next one. Bye.